What's up, everybody out there on Twitch and everybody on YouTube? Welcome to the nightly stream. What's up, everybody out there on Twitch and everybody on YouTube? Welcome to the stream tonight. Um, Been a long weekend. It's a 3-day weekend over 4th of July, so a little bit more has happened than a typical weekend. Two presidential conversations. He had one at Mount Rushmore, I guess, or whatever you want to call them. He had one at Mount Rushmore on Friday, and then another one on the 4th of July outside of Washington, D.C. The second one pretty much just reaffirmed everything he said in the first one. I mean, I don't know if there was necessarily much more to talk about as far as that stream is concerned, or those two streams were concerned. Um, but there is a bunch of news that I think will make a big impact tomorrow, in particular pre-market. There's some huge news and then tomorrow's gonna be exciting. There's almost too many plays tomorrow. There is all kind of stuff. So I guess it just depends on what you're into tomorrow. I've always said, the ideal day trader is kind of exiting the majority of his position on Friday, um, so that on Monday you can buy, because a lot of times over the weekend there's going to be stuff that's just no brainers. And if you have access to the 4 a.m. pre-market on Webull, which I always talk about Webull, there's a link in my at the home screen on Twitch that'll give you a referral code to Webull where you can get 2 free stocks. Webull opens at 4 a.m. So, most brokerages don't open until some are at 6, but the majority of them open at 8 and 9. You have and there's some that open at 7 too. So it's 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Seven's pretty big, and 6 is usually pretty slow. And then 8 is Robinhood. We talk about the Robinhood effect, which I'll probably do like a little short stream just so people can reference it. But basically, what happens in Robinhood is that by default, the buy and the sell orders are set up as a market order. And what that means is that there's two kinds of ways to purchase stock. You can do a market order, or you can do a limit order. So a market order is that you are going to buy the stock at whatever price it's available, and it's going to fill. So if you want 10,000 shares of it and someone's selling 5,000 shares at $1, and the next person, the next best price is another person with 5,000 at $1.10. Well, then you'll fill both those orders, and your average price would be $1.05, right? Um, so the market order, when Robinhood opens, people are putting in a bunch of market orders to fill at 8 a.m. Or they're putting in a bunch of market orders to sell, because you can sell on the market order or buy on a market order, and the same principle. So it fills the next. So if someone's like, they want to sell 10,000 stocks, same scenario, and I'm willing to buy 5,000 of them at $1, and the next guy is only willing to buy 5,000 at $1.20, then you'll buy you'll fill both of those orders and have, you'll sell for an average of $1.10. So traders also are aware of that, and they kind of try to take advantage, I think, of the Robinhood crew a little bit, because they're going to set themselves up to make money. If you're looking at it like there's barely any walls in front of me, I'm going to put an order way back, like if I'm the third order in, I think, there's going to be at least 50,000 shares of this getting filled to buy, then I'm going to, probably raise my sell price, because I assume that, Robinhood's going to raise the price real quick. And since it happens real fast, because it just happens all at 8 o'clock, the stock usually widely swings. And it can swing down and then directly back up. I mean, there's usually, if you look at these penny stocks in particular, and we're typically trading penny stocks, that these penny stocks tend to, have low float, which means that there's just not a ton of the shares available. It's a supply and demand type of equation. And when we say low float, we're just, think of it as the same terminology. There's not a lot of the stock to buy. So there's, a low amount available on the market. which can lead to quicker price action. So that's why you see those wide swings a lot of time. Or when there's volume, right? When there's people buying and trading, then the Robinhood people want to buy or sell the stock because it's either, they want to buy it because they think it's going to go up all day long, or they're trying to sell it because it's been raising in price all day long in pre-market. From 4 to 8, and now it's at a price where they're going to make good money on it, or they've been holding a bag for a couple weeks, and then now it's their opportunity to exit, and they take their way out. So we'll talk just briefly, quickly about the news real quick, although I did a stream directly after the Mount Rushmore speech. So if you want to go back and listen to that, kind of, talked about how, when the president has a press conference like that, or, speech, regardless of your feelings on him, if he says something, typically if it has something to do within the sector of the market, or has an impact on it as it relates to such, traders and investors alike get excited about what he's talking about. So if you remember, he got ridiculed at one point for telling people to inject infectants inside themselves, right? So everyone remembers, like, people were making fun of him, like, drink Clorox bleach. But there was this stock he was talking about. It was a press release, but that one wasn't the one that caught a lot of people's eyes. He also said, we're working on technology right now where we take a really bright light and we stick it inside. People made fun of that. Like, I think there was like a meme of someone with a light bulb in their butt or something. But when he said that, there was a press release 2 days prior for a company, AYTU, and they released a press release that they were working on a UV light that you're going to stick down your throat and into your lungs, I guess, and kill off viruses and bacterial and fungal. So it was going to be like another way to kill off micro things in your microorganisms in your body, your lung and throat. So when that happened, the stock went crazy, right? So everyone wanted to invest in it, and if you had access to Webull for the 4 a.m. pre-market, it was pretty awesome. You were able to log in at 4 a.m., buy that stock, and it pretty much went up all day long. Obviously, it hit a high and then came back down, but you would have felt good about yourself buying it at pretty much any time between 4 and 9 o'clock. I mean, I think it dipped down and when it opened. That's usually what happens when a stock is kind of going up all day long. It will dip down in price. So you'll see that happen. Sorry, just getting a bunch of messages. I just want to make sure that it wasn't anything to do with error in the stream. So if you look at the first thing that we're talking about today, it's President Kanye West and his vice president, I think, possible nomination, Elon Musk. It was pretty interesting. Both these guys are just, obviously Elon Musk owns Tesla, and then Kanye, just like 3 or 4 days ago, I think it was on June, I guess it was a little longer than that, 10 days ago, on June 26th, I believe, was the date. Yeah, he has a Yeezy release coming out with a Gap, which they trade on the stock market. So there'll be 2 stocks there to watch, I think. I mean, I have my own personal opinions about why Kanye is running, but that's regardless of stream. I don't think it really affects the stock market. If something affects the stock market, we're going to talk about it. It's just the way it is. Regardless of your political feelings on things, if it's making impacts on the stock market, then we're talking about the stock market and how it relates to such. So Kanye tweeted something crazy. I'm not a huge follow Kanye guy, but I think he's pretty funny and interesting. I mean, he's quite a character, right? So we must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision and building our future. I'm running for president of the United States. And Elon says you have my full support. And interestingly enough, in April of 2015, Elon Musk wrote this. Kanye West would be the first person to tell you he belongs on this list. This dude doesn't believe in false modesty, and he shouldn't. Kanye's beliefs in himself and his incredible tenacity. He performed his first single with his jaw wired shut, got him to where he is today, and he fought for his place in the cultural pantheon with a purpose. In his debut album over a decade ago, Kanye issued what amounts to social critique and call to arms with a beat. We rappers as role models, we rap, we don't think. But Kanye does think constantly about everything, and he wants everyone else to do the same, to engage, question, push boundaries. Now that he's a pop culture juggernaut, he has a platform to achieve just that. He's not afraid of being judged or ridiculed in the process. Kanye's been playing the long game all along, and we're only just beginning to see why. So pretty wild that 5 years ago, Elon wrote this about him and then given him his full support. So, I mean, this is this is like that headline. It's gonna every radio show tomorrow will. Morning talk radio on Monday. This is going to be on all of those. Um, there's a news docket that gets released to like morning radio shows, and they basically pay for it. And this is like one of the things I guarantee will be in there. So they'll, they kind of like read through that, pick out the things that they think are gonna interest viewers, right? I mean, that's at the end of the day, like they're there to try to have people come watch and listen to them. So they're gonna do everything they can. Um, so with that being said, Tesla was a monster runner all week long. Usually when Elon Musk gets in the headlines, it just keeps going. Um, this stock's Enigma. It doesn't follow any charting trends, so it's a great one if you want to see what like an anomaly version of a stock is. This is a 4-hour chart, so every one of these little bars here represents a 4-hour time frame. And if you want to watch the foundation video, we go over what candlesticks are. But so I'll move the chart around in time frames, but over the 4-hour period, it just did phenomenal. We'll look at it just on a daily. So each candlestick will now represent one day. And you can see last week it just over the 4 days, because last week was a 4-day period, because Friday was closed for the holiday. So I mean, it started down at opened under $1,000 and closed over $1,200. So it's up 20% last week. Monster runner, and Tesla just always seems to never be able to be shorted. And shorting is when people borrow the shares that long-term investors or people who aren't planning to sell in the near future, they borrow those shares and they sell their shares because they're thinking the stock's going to go back down, and in the short term, right? They're like, in the short term, this thing's going to sink a little bit. I'm going to sell someone else's stock. I'm going to buy it back here at 1,000 and make 20%. And that person never even knows I loaned their stock. And the brokerage usually charges you a little bit of interest to do that too. So they make a little extra money because they're loaning you something. So that's kind of how shorting works. In some stocks, you can't short. There's a bunch of rules that fall into it. It has to be on a downtick. You can't short the stock as it's climbing. You have to wait for it to start. Or no, you have to short it while it's climbing. You can't short a stock as it's sinking. So you have to wait for the stock to be going in an upward momentum velocity to short it. It can't lose a certain amount of its value from the day before. I think it's 10%. If it opens 10% below where it closed the day before, they will not allow it to be shorted for the day. So there's all these kind of rules. But the shorts have never won on Tesla. They've continued to try. There's always seems to be an unlimited amount of buyers, and I can see people getting hyped about Vice President Elon Musk. Who knows? Regardless, it doesn't matter, right? Like, there's a spike here along the way, and I don't know where it is. It could be this one. I don't know which spike it is. It could be back here somewhere. Elon Musk made a EDM mix tape, and he, ironically, his stock went up when that was released. So, if he gets in the news, we talk about news. It's just a catalyst. It brings volume. It brings buyers. People are now. Oh wait, yeah, Tesla. Oh my God, Tesla's at the high of it's an all-time high. Well, this it can't slow down. I'm buying it. So people, may be kicking themselves like, oh man, I wish I would have bought it down here. I do. I mean, I remember I thought it was gonna go lower. I was like, this stock's worth $200. I'm like, it's kind of what my price target on it is, but obviously investors say otherwise. They think it's worth $1,200. So I could be wrong on that. It could be worth $10,000. Thanks, man. Spun. Thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. A few people followed before the stream started. So Bowen, thank you. Pumpkin, thank you. Ellsworth, thank you. And if I didn't get it from the last time, Lumpy Lords, much appreciated for the follows. Making our way towards that 25 followers. That's kind of our goal here to get there. Or to 50, I guess. I think we're right at 25 now, so we're almost halfway there to getting affiliated, and then our way to partnership with Twitch. So We can continue to grow the stream and create great content for everyone to come and watch. So it's, Tesla made the news. It's looking good. Um, and then we talked about is this Gap? Yeah, the Gap Incorporated. So this is Gap. They made, and I think I said it was a 26. So yeah, here it is. They go to 10. The stock opens $2 more on the day. So it's up 20% on the news that Kanye West and Yeezys are doing a fashion line with Gap. So in Gap, you're gonna now buy. They're gonna have, and just the way Kanye does his thing, they make a low demand, low supply of the product, has high demand. It's like a stock that has a lot of volume and low float. It's the same concept. So he can sell you a $25 cost T-shirt anywhere else for $150, and you're gonna go and wait in line to buy it because there's only 100 of them, and then it's like a collector's item or hype beast thing if you know what hype beasts are. Um, so those are two kind of more blue chips, right? So these are interesting blue chips for tomorrow, I think. I mean, I'm always worried when a stock is at its highest. It's starting to get what we call overbought, which means that, people are looking at it saying it's it hasn't sold in a long time. It's ready to be sold off. The price is too high for the true value of the stock. Most of the people own the stock at, $500. The majority of people, that's what they bought it for. Now it's speculating at 1,000, but only a few people bought it to get it up there. So, if the people who bought it for $500 want to start selling it, it's going to probably fall right back down to $500. And that's kind of how stock pricing works. So we kind of try to play on that emotion. So I could see some people wanting to get into Gap tomorrow. So that's another interesting stock to look at. So we'll start off the stream today, the Watchlist stream. We talked about President Kanye, Elon Musk. I think it's just an interesting tidbit to watch those stocks tomorrow. I feel like they're probably both going to go up all day long. I couldn't see it not happening. This is going to be really interesting tomorrow. This is going to be a super duper interesting stock. And I found this person put this they put like a great presentation together for it on Reddit. I found this when I do a lot of like penny stock research. So there's a bunch of forums and boards with traders. So I want to know what other traders are thinking, what they're interested in. And then also there's some news sharing there. Now, one thing I'll tell all of you, right? Everyone has an agenda. So if I bought a stock and I bought it for $10 and now it's trading for $5 and I'm holding it because I know it's worth more than $5. I need some volume there. So I'm going to tell everyone that asks about it that it's the greatest stock ever. You should buy it. There's, because I want people like inherently to buy the stock. And if I could have any real influence, then I could technically potentially affect the actual price of the stock. And in the same way, if I have a short position on the stock, well, then I want to scare you to sell it because I want everyone else to start selling after I've sold to keep driving the price down because I have to eventually buy the stock back. And we call that a short squeeze. So when a bunch of people have sold the stock at a high price, and most shorts are doing this on a short period of time, hence the short philosophy, they are selling, they have to buy back the stock after they sell it. So they want to try to drive it down as low as possible for when they have to start buying back. And then once the stock starts going back up in price, well, shorts start getting nervous that they're, the percentage of money they're making starting to lose. They don't want to make a losing trade, so they start buying back the stock, and then the stock starts raising in price. And sometimes when the shorts lose, the stock goes up. So that's why you'll see stocks oscillate down. The shorts are trying to drive the price down. They can't, there's just people keep buying it. It starts creeping back up again. They start getting nervous. All right, well, we drove it down 3%. Let's take our profit. And then they start buying back the stock, and they fill back all of their sell orders with buys just shortly after. And as long as they haven't scared off others into selling, then the shorts never win. They have to scare others into selling the stock. That's their goal. So reasons why BYFC, Broadway Federal Bank, could surpass its 52-week high. So this stock, I missed it last week. because apparently Netflix pledged to move $100 million to black-owned banks. Tech corporations typically follow each other. When one company pledged to donate, other companies followed, right? So Netflix, Twitter announced permanent work from home. We're showing how like other companies followed suit with stuff that Netflix do. So they're thinking, Netflix creates this 100 million Corona release. All these other people do. They're thinking, okay, well they've now pledged to back these black-owned banks, and now these other companies will start to do the same thing. Additionally, technology companies typically follow one another. Many other reasons you can see companies following Netflix leadership. Robert Smith said, and he's one of the wealthiest black investors. After that if major U.S. companies invest 2% profits in left behind communities, we can close the racial gap wealth in 10 years. So, easy but extremely important way the companies can make a significant difference. And I'll drop this link in the chat for everybody in case you want to open it up at a later date and time and take a look at it, because I'm just going to briefly roll through it. I'm not going to read everything. Netflix pledged to address an issue that clearly is a problem needs to be fixed. Even the Fed's Powell acknowledged the disparity, and he believes the problem could be addressed with legislation. So he said he thought disparity in lending borrows existed due to discrimination, right? So he said yes to that. So maybe they have some sort of new legislation that could help black-owned banks and businesses. The recent investor presentation from June 26 displays that the mission would address key lending issues plaguing the low to moderate income communities. Financially black-owned institutions, or financing black-owned financial institutions, is a powerful tool to help address racial inequality. Others are discussing the issue on social media. We can see tech companies, celebrities, and others move their money to these black-owned banks. So, Magic Johnson tweets at King James, which is LeBron, at Drake, and Issa Rae. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. I apologize if that's really bad, if I should know who that person is. Let's get behind black banking. Broadway Financial, black-owned West Coast-based bank. So this is in the West Coast and owned black-owned, right? Some more stuff about that. So July 7th, which is Tuesday, is going to be National Blackout Day. They did another one of these right around Juneteenth. Go study the charts on some of these companies. A good one to look at is U1 Urban One Radio. You'll see that on June 19th, the stock was not purchased quite a bit. It was pretty much sold most of the day. People bought leading up to it. Because we're day traders. We're not waiting to sell with everyone else on Wednesday. We're buying on Saturday. We're buying on last Friday. A lot of people got into this. We'll see that there was some volume on this BYFC. People got into this and they got excited about it. So it's definitely going to be an interesting stock here to watch. Hit an all-time high with Steve Spurman working to keep the price down through large sell walls. He was at the time attempting a hostile takeover. So you'll see this when other corporations try to take over a company. This is like a pretty wild thing. You drive the stock down, and then you try to buy it all up and take over. Because once you become a majority stockholder, you have an opportunity to get on the board of directors and blah, 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 blah. So that's how, for example, I know a lot about wine. And Robert Mondavi, when he went public with his company, he eventually had a hostile takeover and got kicked out of his own company he started. He was no longer able to make decisions for Robert Mondavi at a point in time. He left and started another winery called Continuum, which is a continuation of his best product out of Robert Mondavi, which is called Opus One. So there's a bunch of stuff. This gets really hyped up on a lot of the chat rooms are really buzzing that they're going to buy. Everyone's like, I'm buying this Monday pre-market. It's going to be a no-brainer. It's going to skyrocket all day Tuesday. There's going to be lots of hype on it. I may not hold into Tuesday. I may sell on Tuesday pre-market or Monday after hours. But this is like a, easy buy, probably going up all day long. Now, we'll take a look at the stock. I do have some, there are a little bit of reservations there for me. There is some gaps in the chart, so it did hit a high here of 370. I think this is still going to be a good stock. I think it's going to, people think it's going to break this for sure. Or I guess the high was 723. It opened at 370. I mean, it's probably filling orders in pre-market around $4. It could be even filling higher there and rocking and rolling all day long. So, uh, congratulations to those who caught it. And this is, I guess, we're looking at the. All right, so we're looking at a 4-hour interval. My apologies. Let's flip to the day chart real quick. So, here's its one big day on June 19th, right? So on Juneteenth, this stock did really well. But if you look, it didn't keep its high, right? So it actually went a little bit higher, but then closed lower the next day. So it did get bought out a ton, and then people sold it a ton. And it opened, so it cooked up all day in pre-market. So it started down here, probably got bought, $2. We can go look at it, and then it hit a high of, or opened at $3.70, went all the way up to $7 and closed at 314. So if you bought it at open and sold it at some point during the day, you'd be happy with yourself. But it didn't hold its value. So once again, I think will be a good play, and you can see there's a lot of volume. People kind of they kind of knew about it going in here. So there's a lot of volume. It's people are expecting this to be a rocket ship. So I think this is a very good 4 a.m. play. I think this is going to be pretty much a buy all day long. I'm nervous to see what happens tomorrow. I would be very hesitant to hold this in Robinhood because of not being able to trade at 4 a.m. the next day, and that it could start selling off like crazy. And then at 8 a.m. when all the Robinhooders sell off with you, you're going to sell it for a really disappointing price where you could have made a bunch of money. So we'll look at a 5-minute chart real quick. Okay, yeah, not available. Fantastic. Come on. Let's try this again. I've been trying to find another charting program, but this is still, unfortunately, the best free one that has everything that we need to quickly scroll around. And I just like it because it's it's got RSI, it's got MACD, it's got all the indicators. You can have a million of them up if you want to be like a crazy person. I don't really like to look at much more than the VWAP and then these two indicators. I think everything you need is within this stuff here. So we'll scroll back a little bit to June 19th and look at the stock because that's this stock is going to perform probably very close historically to what happened there. So you could kind of use that as a template. It may not be identical, but I bet it looks probably very, very similar. So here's Juneteenth, 4 a.m. big green candle. It does sell off, all pre-market long. You if you got sucked in this hype here, you're still fine, but you probably could have got it for a better price. So if you can get it at the early goings here, it will be good. And what I end up doing a lot of times, this thing opened at 280, and 5 minutes later, it was at $4. So if I bought it for $3, I would probably sell for like $3.50 or $3.60 and be very happy with 20% profit on it in 5 minutes, and I could be done for the day if I wanted to. Obviously, if you have enough money in your account and you can avoid power day trading rules, then you could have did that and waited and be like, what, shit, this thing's going to keep going up. And it did. So it hit a high around 11 a.m. I think people will be knowing this now, knowing that there's some major investors that may hop in on this on Tuesday too. So if they all jump in on it, it'll be definitely interesting. If we have a lot of big volume buyers coming in, then it's going to get really interesting. So and I think there's just there's a lot of I talked about it, and like I said, regardless of your feeling or my feeling, on the presidential speech on Mount Rushmore, the only thing he really the crowd cheered him on for everything, but he did make a comment about the black community that got booed, which was pretty shocking to hear. A pretty full Trump crowd from the Midwest booed him for something. So he did get a little boo there. So I think that there's people that feel pretty strongly about the situation, and I think if we start seeing some of those on we see like a LeBron James post that he just bought $1 million of this stock. And then Magic Johnson follows suit, and then Dr. Drew, like all these people start just. I mean, the stock's gonna go nuts. Even if they're not buying it right at that moment in time, if they're saying they're gonna buy it, other people are gonna be buying it. I just, I would be hesitant to hold this long term. I'm not investing. Like I've always said, I'm not an investor. I'm a trader. I'm not holding anything super long. I don't really care about how well the company is. I just care about what other investors and traders think about it. If they think it's going to do well, then I'm gonna hang out with them for the ride. But I'm not there for the journey, and I think that's really important to know. So I'm going to jump down to this one just real quick because it's going to tie in to this other one. This is the Carver bank company. It's another historical black owned banking institution. Um, and we talk about sympathy stocks a lot. So once again, this one kind of performed more like U1 did, where it saw the hype on 17, 18, and then on 19, didn't see nearly as much. So 2 days before it got all the hype. And it kind of, it had some, 2 days before tomorrow too is, and it's going to be a little bit further out. But this one also has potential. It hit over 20. What I like about this, is these black-owned banks and businesses, all this hype's building that people are going to buy. No one's going to buy any stocks from any other companies on Tuesday. And that's not going to be true, but there's going to be some investors and some traders and probably some political statement pieces made by companies and political figures and Hollywood elites. So they're probably going to go out and make a buy on one of these companies on Tuesday. So if you get in early today, there's almost guaranteed volume on Tuesday. Where and when it is will be important because when it dies off, it'll start selling off, and if you aren't able to sell it, you're going to be in trouble. But why I like this one, when I was looking into more about these stocks, I was checking the floats out, and the float of BYFC is 15 million. So just imagine that there's just basically 15 million available shares to buy and trade on the market. And it's a little more complicated than that, but just treat it as 15 million shares are available on there to buy. So if there's 45 million buys, people want to buy it and sell it, 45 million transactions, that means those stocks will change hands technically 3 times. One stock may change hands 6 times or 12 times, and another stock may stay with one person the entire time. So also, the more people who aren't, buy it and aren't willing to trade it anymore and put a sell order in to hold someone else from selling it and trading their stock, because technically people can borrow your stocks. There's a function in Webull you can turn off, although they give you like a little margin percentage if your stock gets borrowed to a short. It doesn't really matter for us day traders because we don't hold anything long enough to get shorted, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're like worried that people are potentially shorting a stock that you have, just have a sell order and you can put it at $1 million if you want. But then that way, your stocks are being held on the market to sell at that price. They can't be loaned out. But I don't think it really affects shorts unless you have, if you got 10 million shares, then yeah. But if you're holding a couple thousand, it's not going to make an impact. Like a couple $1,000s worth of it. So that company has 15 million. Now it's probably going to garner potentially more of the attention, and that's what I'd be watching for. I'd be seeing. I'd probably have both of these companies. I'm going to have alerts set up for these two via Twitter and via Google. And if one of them starts trending really hard, then I'll probably move my attention to that one over the other. I talked about that U1. That could be another one, that Urban One Radio. That could definitely be on there. I feel like, though, we talked a little bit about it on I think one of the streams. I think the Saturday stream, so said they make it sympathy. And I didn't know that this Tuesday was going to be a blackout day, but I think that even helps, the president's remarks for those who, it's pretty harsh rhetoric, I felt. So I think people are going to be inspired to make a stance and make a, some sort of political statement by buying some of these companies on that Blackout Tuesday. So I'll be looking to see which one trends better over the other of the three of them: the U1K, Urban One Radio, BYFC, and CARV. But so the BYFC says 15 million shares available, and the Urban One Radio has 23 million on the market. But this one only has 1 million. So this one could have 15 times less buyers in volume in dollars than the other one, the BYFC, and see just as much price change. So if this one gets a lot of attention, it has potential to just there's the shares are, and if people are going to buy this to hold it into Tuesday, it could get real wild. This thing may be the one that it goes from 7 to whatever, $100 over the next couple of days. So I would watch this one. These stocks may get what they call halted, where they start moving, the price starts moving too fast, and then the New York Stock Exchange regulators come in and stop the stock from being able to be traded for a period of time, usually a few minutes, like 5 minutes or 15. Sometimes it can, if it keeps happening, it seems like the times keep getting, it's 5 at first, and 15, and 30, and then an hour. So they kind of slow down the stock from running like a freight train and a rocket ship into the night. So those stocks, regardless of your personal feelings, are gonna, I think, are definite buys, and I think I'm probably going to get out of this and into one of these. That's kind of my plan. So, we talked about it. I'm holding these two stocks. I always fully disclose when I'm holding a shares of something, so you know that I have motivation to make you want to buy them. So you can take that into account when I talk about it. Genius has, and there's a lot. I mean, there's going to be so much good stuff on Monday. There's going to be 100 no-brainers on here. I feel like, and I feel, even though the coronavirus reports aren't, getting any better, it was a pretty strong weekend. I think people still have faith in the economy. We'll talk about Thursday's going to be a big day. I think I'm not going to be holding. I don't want to be holding any position in the market on Thursday when this news comes out. And if it could be good news, and regret selling maybe some stuff. But if it's bad news, then I'm not regretting it. And I talk always about, as day traders, we have high risk, so we have to do a lot of things. The better you are at mitigating risk as a day trader, the more successful you'll be. I'm just going to tell you that now. Mitigate your risk leads to success. The riskier plays you make, the more rewards you'll see, so you can make some splash plays. But over the long haul, it will be harder to be successful. People are definitely more riverboat gambler style than me. I have a very cautious approach, and I'm a turtle, safe and slow, trying to get to the finish line. Hopefully the hare, runs real fast, but then has to slow down or backtrack because they dropped their baton or something. And I feel like that can happen. You can, double your account and then make 3 bad trades, and now your account's, 20% less than what you started with. So, and that can happen in a span of 10 days. So be careful. This company has big news coming Monday. We don't know what the news is, but it's big news. I did some more research about it. On this day here, the screen bar, it was announced that the CEO bought 11 million shares, around $2 or something along those lines. So he bought 11 million shares. It may have been here. I can't remember the exact date, but he buys 11 million shares somewhere in here of around 250, 270, something like that. So I don't know, 30, 50, 30, 40 million, something like that. There's a big announcement coming tomorrow, and he's also already sold one company to Disney. So he's got some friends. I talked to, this company, like Shaq's invested, Arnold Schwarzenegger's invested, Warren Buffett's invested, some iconic directors invested. This guy's been involved in a bunch of cartoons. Some of the people that are involved in these cartoons are involved in the company, worked on Hey Arnold, Doug Funny, the Rugrats, a lot of iconic cartoons as kids. Their kind of vision is to sell a bunch of free stuff. And okay, cool. See, my chat is not working. All right, I gotta figure that out. My stream chat. Let me see if I can refresh my chat. I see people. Fall, gotta go be checking into. Yeah, How hard to do the short-term gain taxes hit on these quick turnarounds like this? Yeah, great question, Bowen. Um, Sorry, I didn't see that people were in chat. What's up, Bowen? What's up, Red Doge? Um, Sorry, I have another chat function thing set up, but I guess it's not working. Cool. Yeah, all right. I put in some things today on there too. And I don't spell referral right, so don't be mad at me. Yeah. So short. We on the. All right. So maybe that one's not working. On the. Oh yeah, there we go. Cool. On the foundation stream, we talk about taxes. So these if you hold a stock for over a year, it's taxed at the capital gains tax rate, which is it starts at 10%. The more money you make, the more it goes up. So I'll open up my little foundation, which is if you go back in my videos, go to the first video. It's about 18, 19 minutes in when it gets started. The very beginning of the audio is muted because I played a song that's copyrighted. I'm allowed to stream them but not keep them on the VOD, so they mute them. So we talk all about taxes, but so long term, if you make under basically $40,000 gross on your income, total dollars, so that's what you make, as your like income tax. So it's your income plus this is the rate. So long term, though, is never more than 20%. This is just the regular tax rate. So if you sell the stock within a year, it's taxed at the same rate that you're going to be taxed at with your income combined. So that's kind of how it works. But it's not treated like income, so there's like no Social Security tax on it. It's just federally taxed that way. So that's the only really kind of important thing to know. So yeah, if you make, it's like making extra income, except you don't pay, like some of those other taxes like Social Security tax and stuff. You just pay the federal taxes on it, which it becomes, a better revenue resource or income than you would make doing something else. So it's not treated as income. It's treated as like trading dollars. Now, something to look in though is that so if you start with $5,000 and in a year you make $10,000, but you had a bunch of trades that were negative for $5,000, you can only claim $3,000 of that. And there's some rules about how you can, what they call a wash sale rule. So go back and watch that. I talk a lot about taxes in that one. And I'm going to do a stream down the road that's going to have they're going to be like 1 hour streams. Like one will just be about taxes probably. One will be about so I'm going to expand upon the foundation stream in the near future. So it'll be cool for those who are kind of just getting started. I don't know, my chat is not working over here. Connecting to chat. All right, well that's good to know. I figured that out. I see that you guys were chatting in there and I totally missed it. So we'll get back onto Genius. I really like this one, but I can see sell-offs. I bought here. I was buying on the screen candle. I had some. I had made a bunch of money on this. I shared that on stream. I made about $3,000 trading Genius, and I was holding about $1,500 back of on top of it. So I made $4,500, and then held on to $1,500 of it, and then. As it was going up this day, I kept buying more, and I filled what I call my max position, which is about $5,000 on one stock. That's kind of where I'm comfortable in one stock at any point in time. But some people will be 500, and it doesn't matter because you can eventually turn your 500 into 5,000, and then you can start trading with that. I'll actually double up on stuff you covered before. I'll catch up on it. Yeah, absolutely, man, definitely. But don't hesitate if you got a question, because that's the thing. If I'm talking about something in chat, I'll be more than happy to stop for a moment and kind of explain, because it's tough. It's tough because you have to know. It's tough to understand the information. You almost have to watch it twice because you have to know one thing to understand the other, and then it doesn't make sense unless you understand both of them. But you can't understand both of them at the same time. So it's kind of like you gotta like half learn them twice to figure it all out. But yeah, Genius will be good tomorrow. It's a huge company. They had big news here, and that's we talk about news creates catalysts for these stocks. They had this great news that came out that they were going to be on Amazon Prime, on YouTube, Hulu, like all those streaming services. They were going to, free distribution on there. And their whole plan is they give like the cartoons away for free, and then they have a ton of merch coming out on Amazon too, like Halloween costumes, kids' toys, T-shirts, hats, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of their plan to make money. And if Disney or Amazon announces that they're going to buy it out, it probably will see its all-time high over the next few days. It'll be probably something I can just I don't have to do much this week if that's the case. But I'm going to sell it before. I'm a weak hand. We have a trader that that was following the stream. I talked to him to see what he was thinking. He's got more kahunas than me. He's gonna hold it through the call. I shared. You can find it. It's out there in public domain. There's a phone number you can call in yourself to join the conference call and listen in and hear what they say. So you can be listening in, and if the news is not as good as anticipated, and people are going to start selling off, you can kind of be there ready to sell with them. And that's going to happen at 10 a.m. So if you have Robinhood, just know you can only start trading at 8 a.m. This is probably not a buy stock for you. I would maybe look at one of the first two stocks we talked about. I think those are no-brainers. Honestly, that should be like the content of the stream, because those are the ones that I think are if you can get in on this at 4 a.m. and sell by 10, it's just gonna be probably pretty easy to make some profit on that. These are gonna probably run all day long, and you want to sell off tomorrow before the market opens, or at in what they call after hours. The market closes technically at 4. Most people trade until 5, and then it slows up from 5 to 8 p.m. So you could sell this off around 7:30 or 7 o'clock tomorrow and be out of it too. But there's rules about day trading. You can only trade 3 times in a 5-day period, basically. Once you trade today, you can't use that day trade for 5 more days, and you have I think 4 of those technically. Or no, you have 3 of those that you can use over that 5-day period. So you just have to be careful. I recommend that you don't make more than 2 day trades. Really, you shouldn't make more than 2 trades a week, and one of them probably should be Monday, because Monday is usually a good day to make trades. Because everyone, like I talk about, all the traders are entering back in the market on Monday. They're going back to work. They need to buy. Investors need to shuffle money around. They need to get out of things that are underperforming, get into things that are going to be overperforming, like Genius. So it'll attract some attention. We won't talk about this for more than maybe a minute or two, because, like I said, I think those are the good plays. Although, if you missed the boat like we did, if you missed the boat on Genius, there may be a good opportunity for you here. So this I did really well on right when I did well on Genius, because this started running. You can see I bought it on this day and sold it here. I shared that on stream too. We made about $3,000 on this one as well. It opened at 75. I think I bought it around $1 and change, and then sold it for like $3. It was like super easy money. It was awesome. Those are the dreams I talk about. 5 to 10% the goal. As long as you're doing that, you're doing good. And then if you can get in the when you get the 20, 50, 100% runners, they're awesome. 200% runner is crazy cool. But those are those can be challenging, because they fall, as we call falling knife. They fall extremely quick, and you can end up stabbing yourself and getting yourself in trouble. So if you bought here, you're holding praying that this gets what we call sympathy. Of people buy this stock because they see Genius doing well. This kind of does similar stuff. I think they're a little bit more involved too, which I like with schools and stuff, which I think could be. I kind of talked about it though on the little special Friday stream after the president talked, that I didn't think that that the government was going to I can't even see them investing I saw them investing money in other things. I can't foresee them investing more money in schools. That's pretty rare that they do that. So I'm not a huge fan of that. Yeah, this is like a Netflix type of thing. I'm sorry, this is not the one that's involved in schools. So they're like Netflix, similar concept. And they're worldwide. They just got some major distribution worldwide, and that's what also kind of I think Genius started running. They had some news come out, and it got all this volume. So if it sees some volume like these 2 days, you can see not much volume other days. But if it gets that kind of volume, we talk about volume. on these, most of these penny stocks have low float, so there's not a ton of available shares to buy. And when there's demand, they start to really move up in price quite quickly. So they can go pretty impressively fast. Um, NBY, I'm in on a little bit on this, although if it's not moving, if it's not really doing a whole lot, I'm going to get out quick. And I don't really want to take a big loss on it, so I don't really want to hang on to it if it's not, if it doesn't get volume. I'm hoping to see some volume like this. This is a mass company, and as you can see, right about 319.18 is when the coronavirus news really struck the states, and really you see a lot of effect on the market right around this time in March. A lot of companies dipped. Companies like this, they were mask makers, so they did well, and they make wild claims throughout their. They were doing something else back here, so I don't know if it's like a really good company to be invested long term in, but with all the Texas added more mask requirements, Pennsylvania has made it now required basically everywhere unless you're outside with it, and not if you're on if you're in public, if you're like at the outdoor shopping mall walking around, you're supposed to have your mask on, even building to building, like you keep it on if you're in public. um, so this could run. I was hoping that over the weekend another state or two would. There's a lot that have already, but I was hoping like maybe one or two more states would um, require masks, and since that really hasn't happened, this one may not go crazy. But there is news of shortage of N95 masks, and they sell N95 masks. I don't know if these are real N95 masks. Um, that's not for me to determine whether or not they're real or not, but they have a box of 10 N95 masks, basically under $4 a piece, and then 30 for 100, so like $3 and change. And the thing with something like this is, and they have earnings coming out in August, so this stock's probably going to do well because I think they've sold a ton of this stuff. They also sell like some sort of antimicrobial and all-natural facial spray to accompany your mask. So should see some success on this, I think, as well over the next week. This is probably one that it's a safer, even if you buy it here and it dips to here, I bet it will come back and see some highs eventually. How long you have to hold to wait for that, I don't know. That's why I'm not going to wait if it starts going down. I don't feel like I don't want to hold this bag for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months. Because I think I could do better trading in other stocks and waiting for this to come back with my money. So I'll probably, if it shows signs of life tomorrow, there's volume, it's moving, I'll wait it out. But I think that there's probably more money to be made in some other stocks. Had I known what I know today on Friday, I would have never bought this. I would have been waiting. I would have bought one of the other stocks. But on Friday, Texas had just announced that they were going to make masks required finally, instead of strongly recommended. So I was kind of anticipating that this may see some catalyst again like it did here. But I like the other ones better. We talked about space in that press, or in the press briefing, or whatever you want to call it, the address, the 4th of July address at Mount Rushmore. Trump, we're going to Mars, which costs money. SpaceX, or Virgin, sorry, not, because SpaceX is owned by Elon Musk. You can't invest in that right now. It's not tradable. It's not on the market as a tradable equity. But you can buy this, Virgin Galactic Holdings. This is owned by Richard Branson, and they're trying to technically bring people, I think, like to the moon or into outer. They're going to take you into outer space. That's you can reserve a seat for $1,000 to go wherever, go somewhere. You and Lance Bass have been waiting forever to get into Mars or on the moon. Lift off. You can buy it. You can do some more research about them. This is a cool website. Richard Branson, like I said, is involved, and they're in New Mexico, so they're based in the U.S. They're in this we did it on our kind of like investor armchair research, and it looks like a pretty legit company. I think if there is eventually this becomes a product that's worth buying, then it'll be great. I'd be nervous if I don't know, are we like traveling to the moon because there's no, hey, if there's no coronavirus there, maybe the moon is the new hot destination to go to for vacation. Um, but they're working on a bunch of technology, and that's technology's hot. We talk about that's like kind of Callus, the good to great model. Obviously, it's all high at 37. It's here, so it could see some. I liked it really hot on Friday, but after doing some more research, I really like those black-owned banks. I think they're super buys on Monday because for Tuesday, I'm not going to hold any of those through Tuesday very long. It looked like 11 o'clock was this when 10:45 was the sell-off time during June 19th. So people basically bought a bunch of traders like myself bought these prior on June 19th and sold them off on the day of when the hype came and made money on day trading. So same deal. You can buy this on Monday and probably sell it early Tuesday and make money on it because there'll be hype behind it on those other stocks. This one here, this is if you believe this company's going to do well. It's a pretty interesting company. I think it probably has potential in the future. If I think there's going to be other hype for Monday, so this is probably like a weekly watch list, not a daily watch list, which is for some of you, you probably don't want to be trading on the day anyways. You're looking at you want to know like that next hot cool company. My only advice is that like this one when it starts getting up to a good price, sell it. If you love it, you will be able to buy it back for a better price. And if you can't, then buy it at a higher price so it keeps going up. But typically, especially these penny stocks, it's speculative pricing. It's not really worth $37. People are speculating it'll eventually be worth that, and they're willing to hold it for a while. If you were just patient, you could have bought it for $10. A month later. So no need to fall in love with these. We talk about don't fall in love with penny stocks a lot. So I like that really big on Friday. I've come back off on it a little bit after more news and more research. I still think it's going to be a good company down the road. All of these stocks are involved in coronavirus. Most of these are pharmaceuticals, or they make some sort of thing that cleans and kills off viruses and bacteria for hospitals. So obviously more infections, more people getting the virus, more likely that some of these are going to be worth more. Mark is the most interesting on the short term. You can see once again this company, they make a coronavirus claim somewhere in here, and then it comes up. They're working on this Remark Holdings, a infrared camera type thing that will like help us now, have large events again. See where their news is. Bikini.com, is that real? Those are portfolio companies. I may have to just go back here to. We'll do this. We'll go to and read the news on Yahoo about them. No, that's not this one I put in. I typed Mark. I'll see if it's here holding. So this is what it's, the hype's over. Will be on Tuesday. They have a call at 4:30. There's apparently a lot of large orders for their coronavirus thing that they got going on. But it's been a bunch. Like they own the website Vegas.com, so they've kind of like rebranded themselves over and over again. But they've had moments of success in their career. So, they're focusing on enhanced digital thermal cameras. That's their kind of. I don't know why it took me to the same thing I'm reading. So yeah, they're making thermal cameras. A logical decision, and it's particularly compelling in light of coronavirus. Even though the acute phase of the virus is likely past, it's not going away overnight. So. Casino. Like the thing. What I understand is that they, apparently have had, there's been reportings that they have had some big contracts with like casinos and event centers. This is probably going to be on one of the like necessary things if you want to have 15,000 people to get together. You're probably going to have to make sure that you're doing your part as a venue owner to mitigate the risk of COVID-19. So this is like a digital way to probably protect some of those venue owners. So this will be interesting because it has that 4:30 conference call, and with like the coronavirus more and more seeming like it's not going anywhere, I could see that being big. Um, I talked about Thursday that on Thursday this week will be the initial dry list claim for the week ending in 4th of July. So will be interesting to see, places in California that we're going to reopen rolled back. Where I live in Pittsburgh, in the county that Pittsburgh is in, they have rolled back dining in restaurants at least through next week to Friday. I imagine it will. I would be shocked if it doesn't go on for longer. I can't imagine the data looks any better next Friday than it did when they made that decision. So I don't know how they could decide to reverse course, but who knows? I'm not, a health expert. Just looking at the data that I have, I couldn't imagine it looking better come next Friday. That would shock me. But you never know. Maybe there's a bajillion more infected people, but no one's died. So it's like it's safe to reopen the economy, and there's no, we just have to get over it type of thing. And then if something like that happens, the president basically said he's done with it. It's 99%. Doesn't people don't have symptoms. I think is what he said. 99% of people that get it don't even have symptoms. So I don't know if I believe that. To be honest, I don't necessarily believe everything our President Trump says. So I'm gonna. It seems like at least the health officials are saying otherwise. Even someone on his coronavirus task force basically is saying it's very dangerous, and that's not the case. So I'll be interested to see. Although the job reports have just been significantly better than everyone anticipates, time over time again. So if it's another good one, the stock market will go up. But I'd rather not risk it. I'm gonna, obviously on my long-term stock, I'll be, hanging on. I'm not selling anything. I'm holding for more than a year. I talked about because we're gonna build a monument park somewhere. I'm like, if there's a company that makes statues or monuments, they're probably gonna see increased volume. If you get the contract to build all the monuments in Monument Park, you're gonna be, you gotta make good money doing that. You're gonna be wealthy from that. You get government contracts, so you get to charge extra because you're working for the government. So I couldn't find any. There's probably one out there. We'll see if there's some. We'll see if a penny stock starts getting volume, and I'm like, God damn it, they're manufacture large concrete, intricate design things, and I'll be like, or whatever, marble. I'm like, they're the world's largest marble carving company. I'll be like, oh man, I'm such an idiot. I should have looked up marble carving instead of the things I was trying to search through the companies to find. I couldn't find anybody in it, and I'm sure there's probably some company that has no involvement in making statues might make some claim that they're transitioning their entire thing to making statues, and people be like, that's the company that's getting the contract with Trump, and that will be the one that could run. So that's part of just watching the news. Have a news alert set, because something like that happens in the middle of the day. That's a great buy for you. The last thing, I don't know to buy or sell these stocks. I highlighted on the stream on Friday, or whatever day that was, that I think it was Friday night, that I thought Workhorse was really it was oversold, extremely oversold on the day. It's oversold on the 4-hour and the 2-hour. It's crossed over on the MACD, which basically means that it's now showing that it's going to start selling off. The chart's showing that it's going to be trending downwards here, and it's showing that it's crossed over on the daily, and then on the 4 and then the 2, and about to cross over on the 1, if not already kind of right there. It looks like it's going to sell off. It may not. There's some hype that basically they're going to get Here's the thing. So it's speculatively high right now. We looked into it. They're basically taking old used UPS and FedEx trucks and box trucks, and they are retrofitting them to electric vehicles. It's a cool concept. And they've made a drone, a package delivery drone. So that's their concept. And they have some sort of logistical software that they sell as well. The company is hemorrhaged money for a long time. They have 80 employees. It seems like it's kind of, and they've They're in debt for like $200 million, and they seem to not have $200 million worth of assets, at least in my mind, unless there's a bunch of drones hidden inside the warehouse that we just can't see that are, gonna save Amazon and UPS and USPS $1 million a drone. Then, but I said, I'm like, they gotta, if they're gonna beat Tesla out doing this, they gotta make these things cheap then, so they can be very profitable at doing it. And I would say, the business model is refurbing old trucks to electric. Fit. I mean, how many with 82 employees can you do? One a day, maybe. I mean, you guys rock. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, if I had 82 people together, like, okay, maybe we could split into, 4 groups of 20 and rip apart 4 trucks and put them back together a day if we're just working to the grindstone. That's still only 1,200 trucks, and I mean, what are you gonna make 10 grand on a truck if you're lucky? I mean, that's not enough money. You're in debt. You're in debt $200 million. You gotta find a way to make $200 million. Making a couple million each year to pay back 200 million, your company will be in debt forever. You're never going to be successful. But here's where the stock gets interesting. Donald Trump has said over and over again that there's a closed GM plant in Ohio, very close to where Workhorse is in Ohio. He said forever he wants to reopen that. They've said that they want to convert the post office trucks to electrical vehicles. The new postmaster guy that he brought in said that. So there's speculation that Workhorse will get a government contract to build these electric vehicles. What's up, buddy? What's up, TJ? That they're going to build these electric vehicles, and they're going to get the contract to open up the GM plant and build them inside there. So if that happens, if they if they get this already facility ready to build cars, basically given to them through like financial grants or whatever, or through the government, and then get a giant contract to retrofit all the USPS trucks, then this company will go from 80 employees to 800 or 25,000. I don't know how many people are working at that GM plant, but they're probably going to reemploy everyone who was working there. I don't know. I feel like they're going to have to retrofit that. They're already in debt, 200 million. They're going to need someone to loan them more money. It's a risky play. I think if you fall in love with this company, that you can sell it. There might be the potential to sell it tomorrow and buy it back down the road at a lower price. If nothing else, I would probably at least take out an option to protect my investment. Probably buy a couple options to have the rights to sell the stock at like I think it was trading over $20. You probably buy a very cheap option to sell the stock at $18. A couple $100. Each option's good for 100 shares of stock, and then you protect your stock. If it goes up, those will be worth nothing, and you'll just it'll be worthless, the options. But if it goes down, if your option expires a month from now and it's down the gutter, then you'll have the right to buy the stock back at $18. So you'd only lose the difference between the trading price when you bought the option, or it's high, to what your option price is. So maybe you only lose you could spend $200, only lose $300, versus lose 75% of your money. So if you had like 10 grand in there, you'd have 2,500 left when it gets back down here. Because this stock is probably, like these stocks do, they go up, they get this huge thing, they come back down. They don't probably go back down to here, but it ends up, $6, $7, $8, maybe $5, unless there's that catalyst, right? So if they come out tomorrow, like we have we're in works right now, we're about to sign a contract to take over the GM plant. We're going to move there to start producing our vehicles. Then, yeah, this stock's going to fucking go crazy. Or there's, like a leak that, they have a meeting with the postmaster of USPS, and did I miss the Genius? Yeah, we talked Genius, so already. That was early in the stream. But you can go back and watch the VODs. I did mention how, you were going to hold through the conference call tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I'm going to weekend my way out of there because I'm a chicken. And you've got the cojones that I don't have. But, yeah, it looks really promising.
the CEO bought 11 million shares 10 days ago or whatever it was. And that's not $11 million. He bought 11 million shares of the stock. That's a ton of volume. And that there's a big announcement coming on Monday, and that he's already sold one company to Disney. And obviously, if you sell a company to Disney, you've got some friends that work there. So if you're shopping your next company, I don't know, maybe call your buddies up at Disney and see if they, looking to buy a new company. Maybe they pass you along with their buddy at Netflix or HBO. You have some connections, that's for sure. Yeah, of course. So he's saying you have connections. This guy has been around. Like, this guy's a, traveling CEO, basically. He's been, like, a CEO of a bunch of companies and has friends. Lost money. Yeah, of course, exactly. Yeah. So he's probably reached out to his friend. He's like, dude, this is, this company is legit. We put down all the infrastructure. I've got all the. He's did the good to great model, probably like he did with the other one. I got all the right people in place. I've built this great team. Just, buy the company. They, infuse a little bit more money into them, and then you can just sit back, let these guys make their cartoons, and I got the right people in the marketing department. And you're just gonna hang out and print money. And a place like Disney, they want to continue to expand their brands. They bought Marvel. I mean, they've got money. And I think for them, you're looking at probably 100% good to great model. Exactly. It fits everything that you want to have in there. And I think for Disney, if I'm them, if I'm sitting at their board of directors looking at our P&L, we just hemorrhaged a boatload of money at our parks. Our parks are not very profitable right now, and probably don't look like they're going to be profitable in the future. I mean, I just know from operating a restaurant and my wife, working at a concert venue, and her friend being the general manager. The margin lines are super tight at these kind of places. Probably have bigger margin lines, but all that stuff, all the those are expensive to maintain, and they still need oiled up and maintained throughout when they're not being used. They probably need to be, they got to be ran every day, or things are going to start seizing up on them. So, the people that do that make a bunch of money, and so I imagine they're looking at their P&L. They're like, man, the parks are just a big giant dump on our P&L. Like, god damn it, I wish we could just write those off. But their streaming service has been phenomenal. They have done extremely well. The stock should have done poorly, except that Disney Plus did so well. Disney Plus, they added an entire new revenue source. All of their Disney fans went from going to the park a couple times a year, buying some merch, to doing all of that and including a subscription. And if you have access to, a couple million, I mean, they probably have access to 1 billion people worldwide. So if you can get $5 out of them a month, that's $5 billion. I mean, they're not getting out of everyone, but let's say they get 100 million people to buy this. I mean, there's probably over 100 million people that have Disney Plus. So, you know, that's $500 million. That's basically a $6 billion revenue, in relatively low costs because they own all the content already. So owning more content is the way to go. So this man played RCT. Is that another stock? Was that his first one? I think that he sold off. I don't know what that is. RCT TV. Yeah, is this the one that? And you can see it's got like. Is this even traded on a market? No, this is Rochester Resource Limited. Is this it? Roller Coaster Tycoon. Oh, he's part of that. Yeah. So I think that was under like some sort of other company that had it. When you were talking about oil up the tracks, yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, yeah. Playing Roller Coaster Tycoon at Disney, making sure you have enough concession stands. So I mean, it's just you built all the concession stands for the traffic of 100% capacity, and you're operating at half capacity. I mean, you're just doing that to appease the people you already sold tickets to, and all those, there's a bunch of people that bought tickets in rooms that they had to refund. Those people decided not to come back, and they couldn't even honor all of the people to come back that when the park did reopen, because probably people that were backlogged from March that wanted to come, and then you also had the people that had the tickets for when they reopened. So Workhorse, I talked about how I'm just not super strong on this. It's but it's if you bought it back 2 weeks ago, you look like a genius today. Um, I don't know if you look like a genius, and you may look like the smartest man in the world in 2 weeks from now when it hits $60, or you may be in a feels bad man when it hits five. I always say prepare for the worst case scenario. So if you think the worst case is that it's not going under $18, then don't buy any puts and hang on to it. But um, when I look at this stock, this is a trend this is not a good trend here. This is a trend that it's starting to sell off. Um, on the daily chart, it's at the very overbought. It can't be any more overbought, basically, which means that the price has just been going crazy upwards. Shorts look at that. That's on their. I talked about this is going to be on their watch list for Monday. If you make your place, shorting stocks that are oversold. It's a very good strategy for some people. I'm not a shorter. I talk about all the negatives behind it, but there are a lot of people that do. Um, it's a shame because I found one good company or one good resource for charting, but it doesn't have any pre-market or aftermarket, so it became kind of not worth looking at because since we do so much. Um, it's about to cross over here, which is, if it crosses, that's what I talked about. If it starts to cross over, it's going to be bad news bears. It's not going to be a good sign. So um, I'm nervous about this stock. It had really low float too, so it allowed it to, because there was not, many shares available, it allowed it to really escalate in price extremely quickly. So I think that's something there. Nikola is another company, the Nikola Corporation. They're making it actually looks really cool. Kind of looks like a Toyota. So they're making like this thing. They're making this thing. They're making another thing that's actually hitting the. They're making all these electrical vehicles. They want to get in hydrogen. But the Badger, which is the one that I think kind of looks like a Toyota a little bit, I was like, is that a Toyota? 0 to 60 in 2.9 is super fast, 600-mile range. 900 horsepower, 980. Like this thing looks pretty cool. It's and Tesla doesn't. They have like their weird truck thing on the market that looks really cool. But now there's another competing one with them, and you can reserve it now, and 60 and 80,000. So it's pretty competitive with Tesla too. But there's a lot of speculation behind the stock, and I'm nervous for it. A lot of this is all speculated in cost, but it could be the next Tesla. So these could be, and that's what I think a lot of investors and traders are speculating on, is that these stocks here will outcompete the GMCs, the Fords, the Subarus, the Hondas and the Hyundais of the world in the near future, because they're just doing, they do fit the good to great model. They're doing very narrow focus. They're not trying to make gas electric, do a bunch of things. They're just trying to make the best electric vehicles. So these are great speculative stocks. But I'm a day trader, so I'm not looking to speculate on something for a long-term position. But I think this one also has room to fall tomorrow, so I'm a hesitant camper on all of these. But we'll see. They're definitely have potential. But so that's kind of the stream today for the watch list for tomorrow. We're going to start the stream. I'm going to try 11 this week, see how my sleep schedule works out. I may try to do 10:30, but it makes it tough to like eat dinner and prep for the stream, do all the research, get everything together for all of you for the more, and then get myself up and ready to day trade in the morning at 4 a.m. So I'm trying to maybe adjust my schedule a little bit. I'm going to try 11 this week, see how that works. Midnight was not going to work out for my sleep schedule. So hopefully the 11 will be a little bit easier for me to get on. So I apologize if you missed the stream. You ever mess with TradingView? That's the one I was talking about. Yeah. So they don't have the I wanted to use that because it's got the charts are just super quick. Um, they're really nice. Um, let's see if we can get to the chart here. Why is it not? Well, whatever. Oh, there we go. I had the chart open. Um, and yeah, this is not this. This is it, but it's not. Where's my? There should be a dashboard over here. Regardless, there is no. They go on the 9 a.m. to 9:30 is pre-market, and then the market opens at 9:30, and then 4 to 5 is after hours, or 4 to 6. So they only show 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you're missing all the data from in the morning and after. I know. I looked too into the paid for version because I was like, oh, whatever, I'll buy it. I was like, I'll buy TradingView. I don't care. It's like whatever, $15 or something um, for their. Yes, here's the chart right. Yeah, you can see I was looking at Genius, and I liked it. Like they only let you have 3 indicators up, so you can you got to pick the 3 you want. I put the RSI, the MACD, and the VWAP because that's what I look at. I did like their over here the technical analysis. I think if you scroll down a little bit and then hit more, they have like the employee list stuff about their on here. I liked a lot of kind of headlines are down here, so I really liked how the whole thing worked. It's like really fast. It's way faster than Yahoo. And I'm like, all right, man, what the hell is going on here? I kept trying to like mess with this time frame, but yeah, I like did some research, and they only it closes here. It's 6 o'clock because this is on. I put this on. I think New York time. Yeah, New York time. So it's on New York time. I had on like Universal time in the beginning, but yeah. So it ends at right here at 6, and then here's the pre-markets right here. Like so, it closes at the other day at uh, whatever time that is, 16. Was that 4 o'clock, right? I guess they're and then they open here at 9 a.m. I guess there just wasn't enough volume that they didn't want to even display it or whatever. Um, yeah, that's kind of weird, huh? But yeah, so that's what 5. Yeah, that would be 1600 would be 12. That's plus 4. Yeah, I don't know why it ends at 4 there. They don't even have any aftermarket here, and then it just starts at 9. So it was like it's great for looking at like a chart on a day because then it doesn't matter. Um, pre-market and aftermarket don't matter, but looking at it in any of the kind of other time frames is kind of dumb. And I know day traders use this thing. I know Yahoo is horrible; it's horribly clunky, and I would use Thinkorswim, but I feel like for newer people, it's there's just the charts don't look as clean, so there's a lot of other stuff turned on. I could probably find a way to turn everything off, but also like you can't scroll like this on Thinkorswim. It doesn't like necessarily work this way, and it's goofy to clunk around in. Yeah, it's Yahoo is the like I did a bunch of research takes. I wanted to use TradingView. I spent like 3 hours trying to figure out how to get this thing to work. It took me forever to find this button here to turn it from alpha here. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, where is the candlestick button at? I kept like passing over it, looking at all the settings, and finally I found it. And then I realized that there wasn't pre-market and aftermarket. I'm like, I can't even use it. Like this chart's garbage for that. But it's cool because they also have like Bitcoin and stuff, and I kind of was like, oh man, it'd be cool like to have all the I could have these because we are. I have hopefully I have a friend who's like super into crypto, and I'm gonna hopefully have like a spot for him. I'm gonna try to if he's into it to come in and like Zoom chat with us once a week or something and kind of give us like an update on the crypto world because it does affect the markets in some way. And I know people want to trade crypto, so he's really good at trading crypto. And I kind of thought it'd be cool for those who want to get into that. I like to trade on the stock market. I think it's a little less volatile. He trades a lot of altcoins, but he has a strategy just like we do. Or I do at least in my my day trading. So I think if you have a really good strategy and it's thought out and you're using logic behind it and it's makes sense, and you're able to prove your point of concept, like you're able to make money doing it, like this guy has, then yeah, he's done well when these stocks or these altcoins or even Bitcoin get really oversold, and then it's a good place and he buys it and then waits for it to go back up and sells it. A little day trade in there, same thing. So Bitcoin at one point, are we on the daily here? Yeah, perfect. So Bitcoin at one point, and it hit like low of 3,000, I think. Yeah, low of 38.50. So it's this big red bar here, right? It's sold off like crazy. So, and I think on this day it like sold off and then bounced right back. It like bounced, the next day back to 6 grand. So you could have bought it for five, sold for six. Make a easy, what's that, 20% profit on that really quickly. So, I'm hopefully gonna have him in and chat with us because I think it would be really cool to hear like the other side of doing the same thing, just looking at different markets. People day trade forex, which is currency and silver and gold and stuff like that. There's that's the cool part about day trading. This has been going on since the Babylonian markets. A lot of the concepts and theories we use have not changed in that entire time. Like the three bar play has been around and known about forever. From those times, it's like the oldest, like the first indicator of momentum I think that's ever been around, type of thing. And these people are probably like charting this stuff on paper. There's no computers, and they're just like writing it down. Like, all right, you're gonna buy it for this much. How much do you want to buy it for that much? But yeah, they were trading spices and stuff. You bought Bitcoin on March 12th. Nice, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we saw it drop here. He actually texted me about it. I was kind of looking at it. I'm like, I have already a large position in Bitcoin. I bought a bunch a long time ago and have done really well with it. So it was like, I don't know. I'm like, because I just lost a bunch of money. I don't know if I want to buy. Like, I don't know if I want to buy more and it just keeps going down. That seems like a dumb idea on my part. I'm like, I'm like, I own a bunch already. I'm not, I don't need to add. I did. I'm like, I was getting into the day trading thing a lot. Before that, and I have, am holding a fair amount of my resources in my account to day trade with. So, I would have had to move some stuff around. I have an account on Robinhood that I don't have a ton of money in, but some investments. I use that kind of as my investment account I talk about, and I have some Bitcoin in there. But I bought Bitcoin a long time ago, and I have it stored in a wallet that I check every so often, and my eyes light up, and then I put it back away because I think Bitcoin will go back to 20 grand, and I'm gonna wait. Actually, I think Bitcoin. I told everyone I'm waiting to 50,000, so I'll see you guys at 50 grand on Bitcoin. If it never gets there, I guess then I'm just an idiot and never sold, and held on till it became worth nothing. But I believe in the concept of this, and I think it will only get stronger and I think this is I think a lot of this is people freaked out because of the coronavirus thing, but then a bunch of people are like, well, wait a second, this is actually good, like how when the markets become volatile, people like to move their money to gold or into silver because those are safe investments. Unlike especially penny stocks are not safe investments, but even blue chips are very volatile during a recession and can you can lose everything. So what people do is they move at least a part of their portfolio to lower their risk aversion into something else like gold or silver. And I think Bitcoin falls along the same lines, although it's not a physical asset. It has, I mean, hey, people want to pay $9,000 for one of them right now, so there's inherent value. People see value in it. Big fan of crypto. Yeah, I think I always talk about, and we can kind of do like a little mini crypto chit chat, and then we'll save that for another day when we can hopefully get him on to come hang out with us for an hour or something and talk crypto. I think Bitcoin will be like the gold of it's the gold standard of crypto, so I think it'll always be around. I think it is a super safe investment. The rest of the coins, I think, are very risky investments. I think one of them will eventually replace what Bitcoin's design is to do. I thought Litecoin looked really good for a concepting perspective. As the more expensive Bitcoin becomes, it becomes less of although the miners have done a good job of, having enough miners on there to keep transaction fees low. Basically, the more you're willing to pay on the transaction fee, the faster your transaction will go through. So if there's not, just like supply and demand, if there's not enough people mining to help your transaction go through, you have to pay more money to get in the front of the line to get your transaction to go through in a quicker place. And if there's just more people willing to pay to make transactions than you are, which are percentage based, then no one will mine your entry onto the ledger to make your buy or sell of your Bitcoin. So, and where I see this coming in eventually is, kind of like a replacement of like the credit card networks. I can see this being a, way to easily, quickly move money around. So I think there'll be a coin that will be advantageous to fulfill that role. Um, it the if places where I've worked or like well, my wife's family owned a business, credit card processors charge 3 to 5% to run a credit card. So um, if I come into your store and I buy something for $100, you get like, and I swipe my card for $100, your credit card processor gives you $97. They take 3% off the top, and depending on the kind of card I have and what kind of percentage it's attached to it. So Amexes are always known for being one of the bigger. They can be up to 5%. That's why you see places that won't take Amex because they don't want to pay the 4 or 5% transaction fees that Amex have. They they'll take that out of your profits. So if there became a better way to for people to move money out of a bank account or credit cards started using some other, an alternative lending credit card, for example, instead of using the two networks that credit card transactions go across, they were using a crypto network. I could foresee that crypto network having a lot of value too. So I think that's where crypto is for the future. Yeah, 3 to 5% is huge. You think about that as a business, like um, when I worked at Mitchell's Fish Market, I talked about that. We were lucky to make 10% on each dollar. So after what they call EBITDA, after its earnings before income tax deductions and assets, is what it stands for. You'll see it EBITDA, EBITDA, just pronounced EBITDA. People just make a word out of it. It's basically profit before a bunch of other, like before more bullshit that comes out, before taxes and deductions and other stuff. So our EBITDA was at like 10%. So there was still more to come off the top, but you know, credit card transaction fees were like 4% of our total sales. So labor was like 15% of total sales. So you think about that, it's a fifth of our labor costs is just going to credit card transactions. Imagine if somebody came in and was like, we have a network that, we're going to have. The problem is that you have to get wide adoption, right? So in the beginning, I couldn't just cancel out everything. Like, well, it's cash or this crypto network. Like, get a crypto account. People are you're going to have a struggle. But as it starts to take off, and maybe businesses start to go, hey, if you use this here, you use this crypto network, you could social engineer it too. So, you could make it in the interest of a business to get people to sign up. Hey, you get a 2% discount on your bill every time you're here if you use this payment method versus your credit card. And then I could see them doing really well that way. So I think that's the future of crypto as a use case. Bitcoin's like the gold, like right now. No one's trading gold around anymore. Like you can't walk into if you walk into my restaurant and it's not a gold U.S. dollar coin, it's not currency. You could come in with your gold bar. I can't let you. I'm not taking that as payment for your dinner and bottle of wine. I don't care how much you say it's worth. I'm not going to trade it for that. You need to have some sort of cash price. So Bitcoin, I think, will always be the gold of it. It will have inherent value, but people won't use it to trade and transact with for the most part. Obviously, people do buy gold, and people have literal bars of gold in their house as investment. They like want to have the hard gold. I think that'll, you got to find. I always talk about you got to have a buyer. You got to find someone to buy your bar of gold down the road. So it's always tough. Restaurant. You find a way. Well, if you walked in, I'd probably trust that it was a real gold bar. So I'd probably take your gold bar and swipe my credit card and stick that thing in my pocket, because it'd probably be worth more than your dinner. And ask you for an amount of cash less than that's worth you as a person to convince whoever you needed to convince. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you, but the problem is, like, if I don't know you, you're just a random stranger on the street, you came up with gold. I don't know. I don't know if that's gold or fool's gold. I can't accept it. You have no way to, I have no way to prove that it's gold right now. I'd have to call somebody. I do know someone that could come help, but I have to call somebody and have them come be like, can you come verify this is actual gold? And then there's people that, like, take cobalt and wrap gold around it, so it looks like a solid bar of gold, but it's really only 3 millimeters of gold wrapped around a piece of turd. Yeah, I hope one day you get to walk. I hope one day we walk into a restaurant with a gold bar just to see if we could try it. That'll be an eventual goal, right? Do well enough day trading, you can buy yourself a gold bar. But I'm gonna get some rest. I appreciate everyone coming by the stream. Like I said, tomorrow, TJ, if you don't go back and watch it, this is huge information. I shared a link. I'll share it. Well, I actually don't think it ever made its way in. So I'll share this link, and it's I think a definite good buy tomorrow. We talked about the June 19th thing. There is another date coming up. It's on Tuesday, which is a blackout day. People are asked to buy, just going to buy African American made socks. Thank you, sir. I'm going to check it out right now. Just made my Webull deposit. Heck yeah, buddy. If you, sometimes here's the problem. Be careful, because they will loan you the money and allow you to buy a stock, but you won't be allowed to sell it until your deposit is settled. So don't do anything until your deposit is officially settled, because you'll go to try to sell it, and then you won't be able to, and then you'll be feels bad if the stock tanks after you were trying to sell it and you're just stuck with a bag forever. So I would just be careful. But so Tuesday, we talked about people are going to buy black-owned stocks. It's a black-owned bank. This one has a lot of good stuff going on, but what I did highlight is they have a float of 20 million. The Urban One Radio we talked about I'm sorry, this had a float of 15 million. Urban One Radio had like a float of 23 million. And this black-owned banking institution has a float of 1.5 million. So this could get 15 times less volume and see just as much percentage movement as this stock would. This is the one everyone, I think, and like I said, I'm going to be watching. If I start seeing like one of these trending on Twitter, LeBron James or some, African American celebrity or somebody, supporting this movement is, starting to tweet one of these, and other people start kind of following behind it. If this one sees no volume, it doesn't matter what the float is. So, but if this one's getting even a share, if this one's getting more than 1/15 the volume of this one, it's going to move at the same pace. So if this is getting a third the volume of BYFC, Carve may be the way to go. It may be a good one, but I think these are buys all day long Monday, sell in pre-market on Tuesday, or in after hours on Monday. But I'm going to probably swing one of these through to Tuesday morning. So, I'm going to probably get out of my Genius. If Nova Bay isn't moving at all, I'll take either a small loss on that. Hopefully get out before, if it starts moving, we'll see. No other states enforce masks this weekend, so it's just, has just the news from Tuesday. So I think with all the other stuff going on, although coronavirus isn't going away anytime soon, and we may see at some point, I may sell it, and then 3 states at noon announce that they're, enforcing masks. And there was news out that California is starting to run low on their N95 supply masks, and their masks are N95, so they could. I don't know if they're actually N95, but they say they're N95, so who cares? If they aren't or are, they're advertised as such. We won't be holding it when they get sued. And they have their earnings coming up at the end. And then we talked about Mark. They make some infrared cameras. They have earnings on Tuesday, so I think it'll see some volume. So if you're not invested in these, do not buy these tomorrow. You do whatever you want, I guess. Like I have my disclaimer, I'm just telling you what I think. I'm not buying these tomorrow, that's for sure. I'm gonna wait until then. I think these are great buys, and I think they will eventually be worth more than their current pricing. I think you can buy them at a lower price upcoming in the near future if you really are hot about these. This news about their contract with USPS is not that conversation is not supposed to happen until the fall. So unless there's some sort of new news, this is probably just going to be a slow sell-off until there's new catalyst for it. But you never know because Elon Musk is going to be Kanye's vice president. So I don't. That's not actually true, but who knows? He seems to got a big heart on for Kanye, and Kanye's going to run for president. I have other feelings of why this is happening. But I'm not going to talk about my political beliefs on this show unless it relates. The political stuff relates to the market, and then I will discuss it. But it doesn't matter why he's running for president, just that he is, and that Elon Musk tweeted all over it, and then in 2015 also said that Kanye is one of the greatest humans on the planet. So I love it. This is not trading advice. Now, we started the stream talking about Kanye West and Yeezys, but what I did say is because Kanye is trending in the news, the last week we didn't talk about it because it really didn't make our radar, but they announced that Yeezy brand and Gap clothing are going to have are going to be partnership together. Gap's tradable, and then obviously Elon Musk is also the owner of Tesla, which is tradable. I think it doesn't matter if it's good news or bad news. If Elon Musk makes the news, people like, and here's what happens: people are going to be like they forgot about Elon. Oh yeah, Elon Musk. So like, well, let me look at Tesla. Oh, my Tesla's at an all-time high. And then they're gonna start reading, and they're gonna read about Workhorse and this company and Plug Power and Blink Charging, and then they're gonna be like, "Wow, I should buy some Tesla. That's gonna be a great stock. That's gonna be worth $1 million." So, and then it just seems like Tesla is never gonna run out of buyers. So I feel like there's more buyers waiting to show up tomorrow because Elon Musk is back in the news. And if Kanye becomes president, it's probably going to be really, really good for Tesla. I mean, that's going to be incredible for them. They're like best friends, better friends than him and Trump. But I think this is. I have a feeling that Trump is totally cool with Kanye running for president. I don't think he really cares about. I think this is designed. Personally, I could be wrong. But, they were good friends. He's like one of the first people to visit Trump at the White House. Although Kanye's had some, not great recent stuff towards him. So Trump definitely cool with Kanye. Yeah, exactly. I don't think Trump cares. I think he's happy. They probably called him up like, congratulations. He is running as a Republican and wearing a red, what looks like a MAGA hat. It says something else on it. But, I mean, it is what it is. But regardless, both of them make the news. I don't think Gap or Tesla's hard for day traders. It's $1,200. So if you have, $3,000, you can buy 2 shares of Tesla. And then, some of these other stocks like I talked about, I think this stock is worth $2 and it's trading for 1. So you can double your money on something like this. I don't know if I feel like I'm going to wait through for it to happen tomorrow because I feel like I could make 20% somewhere else tomorrow and then probably make that 20% 5 more times before it rockets unless there's some catalyst. So I'll be watching it tomorrow to see kind of what happens. If it's trending up, I'll probably hang in for a little bit. But if I can make a little bit of profit on the swing trade and then get into this and this, I'm going to probably shuffle my money into these two because I think they're like no-brainer buys tomorrow and sell on Tuesday pre-market. And I'm just going to make easy 10%, 15, 20, maybe more. These have potential. This one here, if it starts running, it's the problem is it's going to get halted all day long. It's going to be a big, hopefully it moves just fast enough that the regulator doesn't have to shut it down. Because once it starts getting chopped on, it's going to be trouble. He's hoping he snags, so he's, in chat they're saying, he's hoping it snags 5% of Biden's vote because it's a joke. Yeah, I think that's why. I think this is a move by the Trump campaign to, potentially swing black voters towards Kanye that don't want to vote for Trump. It's like, I fucking hate Trump's a racist pig. I hate him. Whatever you're feeling, but people feel that about him. regardless if it's, not a political show. But people feel that way about Donald Trump. Some people feel like he's the greatest person in America, and that God put him here, and he's going to bring like the next coming of the rapture. So, other people believe he's a good politician, and a lot of stuff he does is pomp and circumstance to win votes, but behind closed doors he's a great president. So there's all kind of views on him, but I think the idea is that the black people that don't like Donald Trump, that are kind of like, whatever, I guess I'll vote for Biden, but not in love with Biden. This is their way to kind of like, uh, this is the attack back, right? Like, all right, well, fine, we'll run out a candidate that will inspire those people. That's not Biden, so that Trump's base will vote for him. We're going to try to divide up Biden's base with, which is already divided a little bit with the libertarian candidates and Green Party candidates running, and then you're going to throw this person in, but he's running as a Republican, so in theory it's against Trump, but the primary's already over, so I'm not sure exactly what's. I think he's going to be like a write-in candidate anyways. I don't think he's going to be able to get on any ballots at this point. I think that process is already over. But exactly, it's just he's going to go around a campaign and inspire people to write him in, and he'll take even if it's 1 or 2%, if it's in the right districts. It could be the difference between the election. So I have a feeling that Kanye's presidential campaign will be extremely narrow focus in a few areas like Chicago and some places like Michigan, where Trump he can't lose some of those counties and areas. He's got to win them to win the state over, because he'll win out most of the rural areas. I think that's always the case with the Republican candidate for the most part. The conservative candidates do well in the rural country. And, the cities are typically more liberal leaning and vote more towards the Democrats. So I have a feeling Kanye West will be targeted in swing states. He'll be probably in Cleveland and Detroit and Chicago, in Florida, Miami area, the areas that, probably Pennsylvania too. You may see him, hang out in Pittsburgh or something, and in Philly, trying to win over some of those liberal-leaning counties, because if you win a couple of those, like Allegheny County was one of those that flipped from Democratic to Republican in the presidential election between Hillary and Trump, and it was one of the major areas that helped him win the state over. So I think it's like those kind of counties. If you can flip if the vote's going to be decided by less than 2 or 3%, if you can have a candidate take away from the other person, you don't have to beat them. You just have to have someone else not. They don't have to vote for you. You just have to have someone else for them to vote for. That's not the candidate that's your main running mate. So. Didn't mean to get political on this one. Sorry for those of you who may feel otherwise. If I've let my political beliefs kind of spin out in there, I apologize. I wish Andrew Yang won. Yeah, I thought there was a lot of better. Like, I don't know how Biden ended up as our representative. It's a shame. Fuck Kanye and fuck Elon. Yeah, I don't buy it. I told you I'm out of Tesla forever. It could be worth $1 bajillion. It just it doesn't chart well, so it's hard to know what it's doing. So. Since it doesn't follow the patterns of the majority of stocks out there, I'm going to stay away. But that's the stream day. I'm getting some rest because 4 a.m. is coming bright and early. I hope all of you have great trades and make a bunch of money. And he says, laughing my ass off, I'm so mad. Loved Elon. I can't stand him right now. I feel like he's playing the world. Yeah, he's definitely, let's be honest. Elon needs the president to help him. Thank you, iWatchPlays122, for following. That means a lot. We're ending the stream, but watch the VOD. Yeah, Bone, thank you. All good. Need to crash. Turns out toddlers wake up early too. Yeah. Hey, if you're getting up at 4 a.m., it's a great time to start trading on Webull. I shared those links up in the chat earlier. If you put in the exclamation mark and type in referral, it will show you those links. But thank you, everyone, for tuning into the stream today. It meant a lot to chat with all of you. I'm looking forward to the next stream tomorrow night to kind of continue on that. And, yeah, so everyone have a good trades tomorrow, make lots of money. Let's go.
Get paid, little shorty, get paid. 100,000 in the safe, couple thousand in the drain. Get paid, little shorty, get paid. No, I'm always on my